So I'm sure you can all make a guess the name of that tower. Big Ben, I'm sure you're all thinking. Well, I have to tell you, that is wrong. The tower is not called the Big Ben. You're too clever for that. No, the name of the tower is the Elizabeth Tower. The name Big Ben only refers to the 13-ton bell inside the Elizabeth Tower. Now, we think the name Big Ben comes from a man named Benjamin Hall. He was the chief commissioner of the works when the bell was installed. Apparently, Benjamin is a very loud, round-shaped man who wasn't very nice to his workers. They were decided to name their very loud, round-shaped bell after him. Let's just be grateful his name wasn't Richard. A lot of restoration work has recently gone on the tower. It was a huge restoration project there, took over 5 years, eventually completed in 2022. After the project, all the workers were very tired, but then again, they've been working around the clock. The jokes are not going to get better, just to warn you. Now, I'll take some time to talk to you about my employer, thelastminute.com London Eye. Standing at 135 metres high, this is the world's tallest cantilevered observation wheel. Cantilevered means it's supported on one side, and this is an observation wheel as the pods are on the outside of it. This is not a Ferris wheel. The manager gets very upset when I use the F word. The eye was designed by Marks and Barfield architects, and the design was originally entered into a competition that was held to find a new landmark to celebrate the millennium. And the design for the London Eye came in second place. However, British Airways liked the design so much that they offered to fund it themselves. It cost them about £75 million to build, but it made that profit back within the first 2 years. The parts to assemble the eye came from 6 different countries across Europe. All the parts were shipped up the Thames, and the eye was assembled flat on the river before being lifted into place by the world's tallest crane, just in time for the millennium. And the next bridge we're approaching is the Hungerford Bridge. It's a Victorian railway bridge that connects trains to Charing Cross train station on the left. On either side of the railway, you've got the Golden Jubilee footbridges. They opened in 2002, which was the year of our late Queen's Golden Jubilee, marking 50 years of the throne. Hello on the bridge. Hello. This area to our right is our South Bank. The South Bank Centre has its origins in the Festival of Britain of 1951, which was intended to be a tonic to the nation after World War II. The main building that stands from the festival is the Royal Festival Hall. Huge concert venue there, also home to the London Philharmonic Orchestra. Lots of other arts venues were later added. You've got the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the First Sun Room, the Hayward Gallery, and underneath the buildings here, we actually have the UK's very first skateboard park, the Undercroft, opened in the early 1970s, and since then has claimed to be the home of British skateboarding. This next bridge we're about to go under is Waterloo Bridge, and Waterloo Bridge gets the nickname of the Ladies' Bridge. It was built during World War II. While all the men were away fighting, the workforce that built this bridge was almost entirely female. It also happens to be the first and only bridge in London to be built on time and under budget. I'm sure you can draw your own conclusions there. This building to our right with the electronic screen above it is our Royal National Theatre. Like many buildings on the South Bank, it was built in the brutalist style of architecture. King Charles once described that building as looking like a nuclear power station. I don't think he's a massive fan of brutalism. I must admit, I do quite like it. Despite its arguably rather ugly exterior, inside it you will find 3 beautiful theatres. Loads of award-winning shows there. Great bargain for any fans of theatre. A little further ahead you'll see a red brick building which, as you might be able to guess, was once owned by the company Oxo, the company that makes stock tubes that are still very popular in Britain today. If you look at the tower atop the building, you might think it spells out the company's name, OXO. However, I have to tell you that is technically not true. In the 1930s, when the tower was built, Skyline Advertising took to court for building the tower. Fortunately for them, they had a rather clever lawyer who made the argument that they had ordered a random set of geometrically shaped windows. One circle, one cross, and one more circle. And they got away with it. Unbelievable. You know, personally, I think the judge in that case was in the pocket of big gravy. He definitely had to stop when it comes to that. Now, over on the left, you've got your first great view of St Paul's Cathedral, one of the largest domed cathedrals in the world. It's actually the 5th iteration of St Paul's Cathedral. Well, very quickly to our left here, you've got one of the Thames River police boats whizzing past us. Thames River Police were actually the oldest police force in the world. They were set up at the end of the 1700s as a way of keeping flags out of the city. They predated London's Metropolitan Police Force by about 40 years. The world's oldest police force. Yeah, St Paul's Cathedral, the one you see today, was designed by a man named Christopher Wren, completed in 1710, after the previous version burned down during the Great Fire of London. It stands at 365 foot tall, on foot for every day of the year. More on that once we're through these bridges. These are the Blackfriars Bridges. We've got 2.5 bridges here. You'll soon see what on earth I mean by that. As we pass through, look to your left and right, you'll see these mysterious red columns. Why are they there at all? What is their purpose? I hear you all cry. Well, I am going to let you ponder on that, and I shall reveal all on our return journey. So, looking back to St Paul's Cathedral on the left, you'll notice that there are no other taller buildings around it. This is because an old law states that the dome of St Paul's must be observable from 8 key points across the city. Some of the key points are quite far away, so it actually explains a lot of the strangely shaped skyscrapers on this. They all had to be built right on the protected sidelines of St Paul's. Also, the City of London School on our left here, you'll notice has a large glass atrium in the middle. This is so that St Paul's Cathedral is observable directly through the building from the river, as you can see right now. Coming up on the right, you'll see a round white building with a thatched roof, and that is Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, or a reconstruction of it anyway. In 1970, American director Sam Wanamaker came to England hoping to find a monument to Britain's greatest playwright, Bill Shakespeare, and he found nothing. So he took it upon himself to build this reconstruction. It was completed in 1997, and they used all the same Elizabethan construction methods as the original. So that means no electric tools were used to build the Globe Theatre. It's made from green oak wood, carved and shaped by hand, and that is the only thatched roof you'll see in London too. The Globe Theatre officially opened for its summer season just over a week ago. April the 23rd was William Shakespeare's birthday. We always try and open the theatre around that time every year. April the 23rd was also supposedly the same day that Shakespeare died. We don't know how Shakespeare died. Some people think about it tuberculosis. TB or not TB, that is the question. To your right here, you'll see a small brick building with lots of people drinking outside. That is the Anchor, one of the oldest riverside pubs in London. There has been a tavern or alehouse on this spot for 400 years. Does that mean William Shakespeare possibly drove over there? At least until he was there. Lots of other famous writers across London's history drank there too. Dr. Samuel Johnson, who made one of the first English dictionaries, drank in there. And the novelist Samuel Pepys witnessed the Great Fire of London from that very tavern. Speaking of the Great Fire of London again, if you look to the left, you'll see a golden shape at the top of a tall stone column. That is the monument, another designed by Sir Christopher Wren, who was built after the Great Fire of London to serve as a monument to the fire and act as an observation platform. You can still go up to the monument today. It's got 311 steps. I like to say it's also a monument to the Great Fire, because by the time you get to the top, the fires are burning. But now it is time for the thing you will all come here to see today, I'm sure. The magnificent, world famous London Bridge. The magnificent, world famous London Bridge is directly behind us. We just saw that there. Yet the rather dull concrete bridge behind you all is London Bridge. The bridge ahead of us is Tower Bridge. But don't worry if you get them mixed up. If you search for London Bridge, it will often just show you pictures of Tower Bridge. Also the singer, Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, remember her? She released a solo single in 2006 titled London Bridge. But in the music video, she's twerking away on Tower Bridge. Nice one, Fergie. The next thing I want to point out... the next thing I want to point out is a little hard to see right now. It's a little hard to see right now. It's currently in camouflage, but if you look closely to World War II. It existed in the sink of the German battleship the Scharnhorst, and it was one of the first ships to fire at the D-Day landings. The guns on the front fire 12 miles, and they keep the guns firmly positioned today to support a direct hit at the M1 Gateway service station near Stratford. Why we don't know, but... So we are now approaching Tower Bridge. How exciting. I'm going to move to the back of the boat so you can get a good photo of the bridge without me in it. Just once again, please do stay seated whilst taking your photos. Please do stay in your seats. That will ensure everyone around you gets a good view too. Most importantly, it means I'm see where we're going. The Tower Bridge was designed by Boris Jones, built in 1894. It's a bascule bridge, which means the two parts in the middle would rise up and open to allow ships to pass through. In its opening year, these bascules would have opened around 6,000 times. They open less frequently nowadays. There is an old sailor's legend which claims if you wave to the people on the bridge and get a wave back, you'll earn 5 years good luck for the entire boat. So everyone cheer and wave as we pass through, grab their attention, and us some good luck. Hello! There we go, lovely stuff. See that lady on the left waving back? That's Margaret. We pay her £5 an hour to stand there waving back in your So that's a real Edwardian legend. As sailors were leaving the city, this is the last bridge they would come under, and hopefully they would have the Tower of London, established by William the Conqueror in 1066. It's had many functions over the past millennia. It's been a royal mint, an observatory, a zoo, an armoury, a palace, and most notoriously, this has been a place of imprisonment, torture, and execution. So if you look to the right here, you see the words "Entry to the Traitors' Gate" over an old bricked-up tunnel. That is where prisoners used to be taken by boat into the tower to await their gruesome fate. The wives of Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, they were both taken through that tunnel to be beheaded now. Now only royalty was allowed to be executed within the tower's grounds as a small courtesy before their death, but many more common criminals would have been executed outside on Tower Hill in front of a huge public crowd. Made a great day out of entertainment, there really was. Fun for the whole family. You know, we actually had, publicly the Shard is not a perfect building. It does have a lot of flaws. It's got 95 floors to be precise. It was going to have 96, but that's another story. Inside the Shard they've got offices, bars, restaurants, the 5-star Shangri-La Hotel, and they do have a couple of apartments at the top as well. Last time I checked, one of the apartments at the top of the Shard was selling for £43 million. So, just to let you all know, if you are planning on buying one of those apartments, I am single, I'm looking for a new place. I think we should be best friends. Don't find me after the cruise, please. And of course, there are lots of other tall buildings on the right as well. You'll find the walkie-talkie, the cheese grater, the scalpel, behind that the gherkin. We do lots of some really strange nicknames for our buildings in London. We are now gradually coming back to London Bridge. There has been a version of London Bridge in some form or another on this spot for about 2,000 years. The Romans established the very first wooden bridges here. We later had a medieval stone bridge on the site. That one was a really menacing structure with 7-storey buildings on top of it, heads on spikes at its southern gatehouse. The medieval version lasted over 600 years until it was eventually replaced by the Victorians. We then had Victorian London Bridge there up until the 1960s. At that point we noticed it was starting to sink. So a man named Robert P. McCulloch, an American gentleman, offered to buy London Bridge from us. He claimed he was very fond of Victorian London Bridge, so he bought it, transported it brick by brick to his home in Arizona, where it now stands over Lake Havasu as a tourist attraction, still there to this day. There was a rumour going around that Robert McCulloch was supposedly another person who had mixed up Tower Bridge and London Bridge, thought he was buying Tower Bridge, accidentally bought London Bridge by mistake, didn't realise it until it arrived. He denies that rumour, but he will. First Englishman to circumnavigate the globe. However, he kind of did so by accident. His real objective was to steal lots and lots of gold, mainly from Spanish ships. He stole all their stuff. He did not fancy facing them again, so he just kept going in a straight line until he went around the entire world and came back to England. And when he got back here, how did we punish Francis Drake for his piracy? We did not. Instead, he amassed so much gold that he was able to pay off England's national debt 3 times over. So, Queen Elizabeth I was very grateful and gave him a knighthood. It just goes to show you, sometimes crime pays, if you make some of the aristocracy. But you can go on the Golden Hind today. They currently run an escape room on there. It's called Escape the Golden Hind. You get to solve lots of puzzles on an authentic pirate ship. You can even meet Francis Drake for yourself and pass your own judgment on it. Really is loads of great fun. Do recommend checking it out if escape rooms are your kind of thing. This next bridge ahead of us is Southwark Bridge, built in 1921 in the Art Deco style. Today, Southwark Bridge gets the nickname of the Lonely Bridge. Kind of getting we call it the Lonely Bridge as it gets the lowest footfall out of all the bridges in the city. It connects nothing of interest on the left to nothing of interest on the right, and Google Maps generally avoids it. So anyone you see on this bridge today is lost. It's also the only bridge in the city which is still gaslit. By that I don't mean we try and convince it it's not a bridge. I mean the lights in it are powered by gas, so it does make a very romantic walk in the evenings, even if you've got nowhere to walk to. Now you may remember earlier me talking about a competition that was held to find a new landmark to celebrate the millennium, where the London Eye regrettably came in second place. Well, the next bridge ahead of us is the design that won that competition. Millennium Bridge opened in the year 2000, and in its opening weekend 160,000 people all walked onto the bridge, and they all noticed a rather severe wobble. People were falling over, people were puking off the side. It had to close after just 3 days. Now, the bridge's designer was a man named Norman Foster. Norman Foster is not from London, he's from the north of England, and after the incident he was interviewed and asked about the wobble. He claimed that there was nothing wrong with his design, it's just the way Londoners walk. Apparently we march everywhere, how rude. But either way, something had to be done, so the bridge closed for 2 years while 91 dampers were installed. They even got help from engineers at NASA, and they eventually managed to remove that wobble. The bridge reopened in 2002, and although its promoters intended for it to look like a blade of light across the city, it now just keeps the nickname of the Wobbly Bridge. The Wobbly Bridge has had a rather successful film career though. Perhaps most famously, the bridge features in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. It gets destroyed right at the beginning of the film. Now, if you have read the books, you will know that Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is set in 1997. And that is, of course, Millennium Bridge. So I don't know what kind of time travel was going on there. The bridge is in another couple of films as well. It's also in Guardians of the Galaxy. It gets destroyed on the planet Xandar. And it's also in London Has Fallen. I'm sure I don't need to tell you what happens there. It does seem every film the bridge features in, it gets horrifically destroyed in some form or another. I'm not entirely sure what Hollywood has against it. This building to our left with the huge brick chimney was once the Bankside power station It closed in the 1980s due to the amount of pollution it was causing, but the building reopened in the year 2000 as the Tate Modern Art Gallery. It's my personal favourite art gallery in London. That is the world's largest collection of modern art, and it's free to enter. I definitely recommend a visit to the Tate Modern if you ever get the chance. Loads of weird, wacky pieces of modern art to see in there. Even if modern art is not your cup of tea, they do have a great bar at the top. It's got some stunning rooftop views. I recommend go up there, have some of their cocktails, and that modern art restaurant, speaking to you. A little further ahead, you can see one of the newest additions to our skyline. That shiny building's official name is Number 1 Blackfriars, but we like to nickname tall buildings in London based on their strange shapes. A few have been suggested for this one, including the Boomerang, the Baby Bump, the Cocktail Shaker, or perhaps most popular, the Kim Kardashian. Sure you can figure out why. We are now coming back to the Blackfriars Bridges once again. You've got Blackfriars train station in front of us here, the only train station which spans the Thames. The roof of the station is covered with solar panels, which means on a sunny day in London, this train station is completely solar powered. The other 364 days a year, it is not. And once again, here are those mysterious red columns. Yes, they're still here. I'm sure you've all been dying to find out the mystery behind them. Why are they here? What is their purpose? I shall reveal all possibly through this bridge. So, those columns once held up St Paul's Bridge, which was built to hold the London to Chatham and Dover steam railway line. The bridge was built in 1885, but as the years went on, steam engines got heavier and heavier, and St Paul's Bridge started to crumble and break under the weight of newer, heavier trains. Eventually, the bridge had to be removed, and it was replaced by the two new Blackfriars bridges on either side. However, as they were removing the old bridge, they realised that those columns, so firmly embedded in the river, the only way to remove them would be by using dynamite. However, dynamite would have likely destroyed the brand new bridges which had just been built on either side, and they did not want to do that. So instead, they decided the best thing to do would be to paint the columns red, give them a grade 2 listing, just hope no one notices them. We've noticed them, so now we point them out 8 times a day. Good luck. To our right here, you can see a lot of work has been going on our embankment. Really are sharks living in the Thames. You've got the taupe shark, which can grow up to 6 feet in length, and another species called the spur dog, which is venomous. So one good reason not to go for a swim. And along the wall of the embankment there, you can see several green lion heads with rings in their mouths. Those lion heads are old Victorian mooring points, somewhere to tie up your boat. But they were also used as an old flood detection system. There is a little rhyme that goes with the lions, and it goes something like this. When the lions are drinking, London is sinking. When the lions are ducked, London is flooded. Hello! This building to our right with a green dome roof is Somerset House, most famously known nowadays for its art. If you go to great exhibitions throughout the year, they house all the works of Renoir, Monet, Van Gogh. Formerly, the building's purpose was to record births, marriages and deaths in the city, and so it gave the nickname of the Hatcham building. Just beyond Waterloo Bridge, on the right-hand side, we've got the world-famous Savoy Hotel. I'll point it out properly once we do the bridge. But the Savoy Hotel, designed by Richard Doyle-Grant, was London's first luxury hotel. Loads of famous names have stayed there, from Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe, all the way up to Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift. So that's this building to the right with the dark green tile roof. The most expensive rooms at the Savoy are in the White Suite. These will cost you £18,000 a night with a 3-night minimum stay. With that price, you get your own hand-stitched mattress, butler service, and your own personal therapist. So there you go, if you're spending £18,000 on a hotel room, you need a therapist. To our right here, we've got the oldest thing you'll see along the river today, Cleopatra's Needle. This Egyptian obelisk was built 3,500 years ago, under the reign of Thutmose III. It was given as a gift from Egypt to London in 1819, as a thank you for our help on the Battle of the Nile. I will repeat that, this is a gift. It's the moment of Egyptology in London that we didn't steal. Apparently, Egypt were originally going to give us one of their pyramids, but they would only give it to us on the condition that we took the pyramid apart, sell each part to 6 different countries. Each of those countries would then have to sell their part to 6 more countries, and so on and so forth, until we realised the whole thing was a scheme. There you go, first joke of the day. So, we're about to come back through the Golden Jubilee footbridges once again. And this will be your last chance to wave at a stranger on a bridge and get a wave back. So make sure to get all the waves out of your system here. If you try it on the tube later, they won't be so friendly, I can assure you. Hello! We'll try again on the other side. Hello! There we go, lovely stuff. Hello! Over on the right, opposite the London Eye, you'll see a large building with a light green roof, lots of different flags on it, and that is the Ministry of Defence. Gets the nickname of the iceberg, because what you see in it is just the tip of the iceberg. It's much larger underground than it is above ground. It's got huge underground nuclear-proof bunkers with tunnels connecting to Downing Street and Parliament, so in the event of nuclear fallout, all our politicians will be safe. How reassuring. In 1999, when the London Eye was being built, the Ministry of Defence tried to take the Eye to court, as they were concerned that foreign spies would go on the London Eye and from the top use telescopes to look across the river, through the windows, and spy on secret documents. This really went to court, but the court eventually told them, you're the Ministry of Defence, just rising curtains. Which they did, case closed. We will shortly be returning to the pier, but I do ask you all in the meantime to please remain seated. Just while we carry out our docking procedure, get the boat properly tied up, please do stay in your seats until I let you know it is safe to disembark. The toilets on board are now closed. There are toilets over in the ticket office should you need, but the ones on the boat are now closed. So please do stay in your seats until I let you know it is safe to exit. The last building to our left here is County Hall. It used to be a home to the Greater London Council. It's now a home for Merlin Entertainments. So as well as the London Eye ticket office, we've got the London Dungeon, Shrek's Adventure and the Sea Life Aquarium. So lots of fun stuff going on here.